Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. An afternoon slate game, almost a football time, but we're playing basketball here this afternoon at the barn. It's the Golden Gophers hosting the visiting Northwestern Wildcats. I'm Jack Bartlett, joined alongside Jason Ruttman, and we're coming to you for the first time playing basketball since the Gophers lost at home here against Iowa that Jason and I called. After that, followed it up with two more losses against Michigan State and Wisconsin, and then a win in Penn State that I'll get to later, which I think really turned the face around and snapped a four-game losing streak.
You're absolutely right, Jack, but I mean, my goodness, the Golden Gophers were so close against the Wisconsin Badgers. A 61-59 loss. They nearly tied it up with a last-second shot, but off the backboard, off the rim, and into a Wisconsin player's hands, rounded out that one. That would have been a big-time upset for the Gophers, but absolutely, the resolve to bounce back against a quality Penn State team on the road was impressive for the Golden Gophers, picking up an 83-74 victory against the Nittany Lions, led, as per usual, by Dawson Garcia, who had 22.
Yeah, and the Badgers have really struggled as of late, just barely squeaking out a win against the Gophers and then choking a momentous 18-point second half lead against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. The Nebraska Cornhuskers ended up winning that game in overtime. But to give you some background on what happened in Penn State, the last game in January for the Golden Gophers, they started out extremely cold, and Penn State was hitting just about everything in the first half. Outscored 45-31 after the first half, and then came out of the half, immediately allowed a bucket. That was their biggest deficit of the game, 16 points, and answered that with a spectacular 12-0 run to cut it to 43-47. Wound around kind of back and forth battle for most of the rest of the game, and at 1 minute and 18 seconds left in the game, it was a 1-point game. Cam Christie made a layup to make it 3, and then a huge Joshua Olajoseph putback to put the lead to 5, and then the Gophers hitting their free throws down the stretch to put the game out of reach.
It was a really good team effort for Minnesota. They had 5 players score in double digits. The second half was really a clinic for them, outscoring Penn State by 23 points. Cam Christie was exceptionally impressive in this game. He had 17 for the Golden Gophers. Pharrell Payne contributed 14, and Minnesota simply dominated the second half around all sides of the ball. Defensively, they were making their stops. They were outboxing Penn State, getting the proper rebounds, and following it up on the other end with buckets. The Golden Gophers are going to have to play very similarly here today if they want to beat a Northwestern team that has been very impressive down the last month stretch.
The thing that's most impressive about that Penn State game is that the Golden Gophers, this is relatively unaffected by the other team, they shot 88% from the free throw line, 23 of 26, and that really led to them winning that game, especially like the ones that I said down the stretch. But yes, like you said, Jason, there is nothing to be trifled with these Northwestern Wildcats. They're 3-2 in their last 5. They won at home against Maryland, lost at Nebraska, who's been showing a bit of a turnaround as of late. They won in overtime against number 10, Illinois. That was a really good game. They looked quite impressive there against a strong Illinois squad. Won against Ohio State in a blowout, and then most recently lost in overtime at Purdue. But there was a little more to that game than we had anticipated, and they took one of the best teams in the nation to the extra session.
I'll tell you, this Northwestern team played an unbelievable contest against Purdue. Boo Buie and Ty Berry were both fantastic. They each had 25 points, and Northwestern's strategy was basically hack a Zach Edey. Send him to the free throw line, make him shoot free throws, and in overtime that caught up to them because they had 3 players foul out. They were short on the bench. But to take number 2 Purdue into overtime with them still scoring 96 points, the Wildcats did in that game, that is a really impressive showing, and I think that this team is now starting to turn heads. When you beat a top 10 seed or a top 10 ranked team in Illinois and then crush Ohio State by 25 and then go and play number 2 Purdue all the way to the very end, that is a team that looks like they are heating up at the right time as we start to turn our attention towards what could be the second consecutive year Northwestern makes the NCAA tournament.
And again, the biggest thing from that game in terms of total free throws attempted, they were beaten in that category by 38. That is an insane free throw differential. 46-8 free throws attempted. I think if Purdue doesn't have that many free throws attempted, Northwestern might end up winning that game.
You're absolutely right. And Northwestern's strength lies with their guards. Boo Buie and Ty Berry are both upperclassmen. Boo is a grad student. Ty Berry is a senior. And they are really, really dangerous. Northwestern as a team thrives off of three-point shooting. They shoot 39% from beyond the arc. That's second in the Big Ten, and that's top 15 in the nation. As a squad, they also don't turn the ball over. Having that veteran presence in the backcourt is so useful for them. Minnesota is going to have to keep the turnovers low if they want to stay in this game against the Northwestern Wildcats. We will now send it down to the court for Lift Every Voice and Sing, followed by the national anthem.
So a bit more preview about this Northwestern team, especially highlighting Ryan Langborg. He is a new face on this Northwestern team, a graduate student originally from San Diego, California, and you may have heard of him in March Madness last year. Was playing for 15-seeded Princeton, who shocked the world and upset number 2 Arizona, who was a popular bid to win the national championship, and then throttled Mizzou in the second round and fell in the Sweet 16 to Creighton. But Langborg's a guy, he knows success, and he's been playing really well for this Northwestern team in his first year. 39% from beyond the arc and 11.5 points per game. He's shown he can really come up to Big Ten basketball and play strong. Another great guard.
Yeah, he's a fantastic addition to this Northwestern team, which is, compared to Minnesota, very much so a seasoned and veteran team. Like I had mentioned earlier, Boo Buie is a grad student, Ty Berry's a senior, and their other 3 starters, Ryan Langborg, Brooks Barnheiser, and Matthew Nicholson, are all upperclassmen. So Northwestern really relies heavily on their starting 5, and then their bench efficiency drops off fairly aggressively compared to Minnesota, who leads the Big Ten in points off the bench this season. Now, another thing that Northwestern does really well is make their free throws. 73% from the free throw line, largely because those guards are such good shooters. The Golden Gophers, on the other hand, are below 68%, and it's just been inconsistent. Last game against Penn State, they shot a fantastic game from the charity stripe, 23 of 26. However, that hasn't been the case throughout the season. Northwestern is not a team that plays sloppy basketball. They don't turn the ball over. They don't commit a ton of fouls, with the exception of fouling Zach Edey, which was designed. And so overall, the Golden Gophers are going to have to take advantage of the opportunities that Northwestern gives them today. Use the bench depth to their advantage. If they turn the ball over, Minnesota needs to run the court. And ultimately, it's all about controlling the pace of play. Boo Buie and Ty Berry are such good court generals that the Golden Gophers are going to need to be comfortable sitting back and having long defensive stands before getting it and bringing the offense forward. Smart shot selection will be critical, and making sure that you can prevent Northwestern from capitalizing from beyond the three-point line. Because if this team gets hot from beyond the arc, this game could get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, and the Golden Gophers have an interesting starting 5. Elijah Hawkins, Mike Mitchell, Dawson Garcia, Pharrell Payne, and Cam Christie to combat Northwestern's Boo Buie, Ty Berry, Ryan Langborg, Brooks Barnheiser, and Matthew Nicholson. Nicholson stands at 7 foot, so he's going to be the tallest player on the court regardless of when he goes there. So the Golden Gophers looking to put the bigger Pharrell Payne on him underneath. He has 28 blocks on the season, averages about just over 1 per game, and he's a great piece underneath the rim for all those guards to find if he can work his way around Pharrell Payne. So defending underneath the rim isn't exactly going to be the easiest task either.
The Golden Gophers have lost back-to-back games against the Northwestern Wildcats in recent years. However, at home, Minnesota has been strong against Northwestern historically, and on the road, the Wildcats have not looked great this year, just a 2-4 record compared to Minnesota's 11-3 mark at home here in the barn. So with that, we will step aside momentarily. Tip-off coming up in about 45 seconds on Radio K Sports.
Just about ready for tip-off here from the barn in beautiful Minneapolis. Still an uncharacteristic 38 degrees outside. Our heat wave that we had last week, where it got all the way up to 53 at some points, I think has somewhat dwindled, but we're still not used to this winter. But we're ready for the winter sport, or one of the 2 winter sports here in Minnesota. Golden Gopher basketball. Referee says wants a redo on the tip. And that's won by Northwestern. Nicholson beats Payne. Boo Buie, one of the better names in college basketball, just by a name standpoint, brings it up. Ty Berry underneath, tried to find Brooks Barnheiser. Good turnover forced there by the Golden Gophers. Cam Christie up top to Mike Mitchell, gives it to Elijah Hawkins as they work it around. Gophers really swinging it around the three-point line. Mitchell down low, finds Garcia. He works free beyond the arc. Defended there by Langborg. Gives it to Mike Mitchell, a little switch. Elijah Hawkins switches places, but the Golden Gophers do not have an open shot. Garcia has to throw one up, and it bounces off the rim a shade too strong. Great defense there by Northwestern.
Yeah, the Wildcats are so good with sticking with their men, maneuvering around screens and sharing defensive help. The Golden Gophers are going to have to come out creative today in terms of their plays in order to score.
10 on the shot clock for Northwestern. Turnover forced by Pharrell Payne, and Cam Christie has a wide open play and a dunk. So the Golden Gophers force a turnover on back-to-back possessions, and they have the first bucket of the game.
That's Pharrell Payne and Cam Christie trapping a Northwestern guard at the top of the key. That's a huge turnover for Minnesota.
Almost a wide open layup, but pass was too strong from Langborg to Barnheiser. Now back up top for Buie. Buie working on Hawkins, couple head fakes. Back to Barnheiser down the lane, lays it up and in.
It's clear what the Golden Gophers are doing defensively here. Whoever's guarding Boo Buie is getting assistance from one of the big men. So the past two possessions, it's been Cam Christie and Elijah Hawkins switching off on Boo Buie, and then Pharrell Payne has been working his way up towards the free throw line to provide additional support, forcing Buie to give up the ball.
No Golden Gophers really staying in the paint here early on. Pharrell Payne's been working a lot of ball screens. He gets the ball, drives in, and lays it in with the left hand. Great dribble drive there from Pharrell Payne. And the Gophers have two early buckets. Buie up the floor, watched by Garcia. Garcia now has to switch off of him. Langborg underneath to Nicholson. Swings it out to the far three-point line for Barnheiser. Defended there by Pharrell Payne. Works his way around the screen. Fadeaway shot from inside the paint is good. It's a nice roll. It's
a really strong move there by Brooks Barnheiser, recognizing that he had a step on Pharrell Payne, using Payne's momentum to his advantage. He hits a step back, Pharrell goes right by him, and he gets a bucket out of it.
Barnheiser leads the team in rebounds per game with 6.3, steals per game, and minutes per game with 2 and 36. Garcia trying to post up Barnheiser, help there down low from Nicholson. Swings it out to Elijah Hawkins into the paint, lost it, and turns it over. Up comes Ty Berry. Now back to Barnheiser, who looks to slow things down. Berry in the corner for three, that's good. Well defended there by Mike Mitchell, but Berry hits it right in his face.
Wildcats, a strong three-point shooting team, as we talked about early. That's the first of what's likely to be many this game, but the Golden Gophers are doing a nice job keeping the perimeter stacked with defenders.
And Elijah Hawkins draws a foul underneath. That'll be Nicholson's first.
Northwestern already goes with a sub here. They're going to bring in Luke Hunger, the sophomore forward, as Matthew Nicholson subs out. Similar to the Golden Gophers last year, the big men play is not the strong suit for the Wildcats, and they're going to have a continuous rotation of their centers and power forwards. Their strength comes at the guard position.
Dawson Garcia on the inbound pass, knocked down Boo Buie, no foul. Pharrell Payne up to Christie, now over to Hawkins on the far side. Step back two-pointer, that's a shade too strong, just about the same point that Dawson Garcia missed his. Rebound Northwestern. Buie brings it up the court, 0 against 0 on defense. Hunger gives it to Buie, drives in on Hawkins. Strong drive, but his layup was too weak and bounced off the glass and off the rim. Cam Christie spins around, finds Mike Mitchell. Thus far, no easy shots for the Golden Gophers. The Wildcats have been very strong defensively. Long pass over to Cam Christie. Gophers still deep in the shot clock. Now Garcia in the post finds Pharrell Payne for the dunk. Great vision by Garcia, saw a double team and found Pharrell Payne wide open.
Such an underrated part of Dawson Garcia's game is his passing ability and his court vision. There he recognized that he was backed up against a man, was going to have to take a tough fadeaway shot. Instead, looks the other direction and finds backdoor Pharrell Payne for the bucket.
7-6, three-pointer up top for Barnheiser was short. Hawkins with a quick rebound. Mitchell now driving into the paint, looks for a kick out. Garcia, straightaway three, that's off to the right. Rebound Northwestern, Bowie will bring it up again. See what the Golden Gophers do in terms of three-point shooting. We've seen them struggle throughout the season. They shot well in the loss against Wisconsin, but did not shoot well last game against Penn State. Still ended up with the win. Barnheiser trying to post up Pharrell Payne. Payne has really good defense. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Langborg driving in, right-hand push shot is well too strong, didn't hit the rim, and Pharrell Payne with the rebound. Mike Mitchell driving in, Euro step, off glass is in! That's a tough bucket from Mike Mitchell, and the Golden Gophers retake the lead 8-7.
Good court recognition by Mitchell. He saw he had a little bit of space, goes in, high floater off the glass, hits the rim and goes in. And now there's an offensive foul on Northwestern. Look at the Golden Gophers go.
That's against Luke Hunger, his first, team second. Looks like Northwestern wants a timeout. 8-7 here in the first half. Golden Gophers on top on Radio K Sports. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 8-7 Golden Gopher lead. Northwestern with 2 fouls. Golden Gophers will have possession in their half of the court. Looks like Matthew Nicholson back on the floor for Northwestern. Substitution for the Golden Gophers. There's Ola Joseph in for Pharrell Payne. Cam Christie gives it to Ola Joseph. Best percentage shooter. He's got Nicholson on him, drives in, puts it up, and that catches nothing. It's a rare miss from Ola Joseph. Northwestern brings it up the court. Shoots 43% from beyond the arc and 63% from the floor. Martinelli in the corner. Drives in on Ola Joseph, post shot. Hits off the right rim, bounces out of bounds, and it'll go towards the Gophers.
I really like what the Golden Gophers have done in terms of managing Boo Buie. He clearly is uncomfortable when he's picked up by both a big man and a guard at the top of the key, and he is their most dominant scorer, averaging just under 19 points a game. So if the Golden Gophers can continue to neutralize him like this, that is going to play very favorably into their hands.
Martinelli, another sub for the Wildcats. Ola Joseph for 3. That's shade too strong. He starts 0 for 2 from the floor. But Nick Martinelli, 6'7" sophomore out of Glenview, Illinois, sees his first action tonight. Buie picked up by Garcia and Hawkins, out for a three-pointer. Barnheiser, that's good. Barnheiser has 7 points, leads all scorers, and it's 10-8 Northwestern.
Barnheiser is such a good all-around player for the Wildcats. He can drive, he can shoot. Defensively, he's a lockdown player. They absolutely love him on this team.
Hawkins gives it to Ola Joseph, now to Mike Mitchell. Up to the point for Hawkins. Underneath Garcia at the free throw line. Kick out, Ola Joseph again for 3. That rattles out. Ola Joseph just got on the floor and has not hit any of his 3 shots. Buie picked up by Dawson Garcia, who immediately switches off of him. Drives in against Hawkins. Left hand, or right hand layup, that is. Hawkins wanted to push there, but Buie extends the Northwestern lead to 4.
That's good work by Boo. Driving through the contacts, playing. He thought he might get a whistle, but instead realized he had some space, put a nice shot up, and banks off and in.
Looks like Elijah Hawkins commits a turnover here. Looks like he wanted Garcia to go down low after a high ball screen. Just like that, out of the timeout, similar to what we saw in the Iowa game. Iowa turned it over 3 times in the first 5 possessions when we were here at the barn a couple weeks ago, and then took a timeout and locked it down thereafter, and Northwestern doing some of the same.
2.5-minute scoring drought for the Golden Gophers right now.
Fadeaway three-pointer is short, and is that a timeout called? I believe it is.
It was an off-ball foul. It was Ola Joseph tied up with, I believe, Matthew Nicholson. And they call the foul on Joshua Ola Joseph. It's the first team foul for the Golden Gophers. But like Jack said, we've reached our second media timeout. We'll step aside.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Northwestern leads the Golden Gophers 12-8 with 11:48 remaining in the first half. Just want to do a quick plug for the Radio K Sports Hour podcast. I got the opportunity with Rogan Isbell and Matthew Zeikert to talk NBA All-Star Game NHL first half reflections, as well as a lot of NFL playoffs that we needed to catch up on. Always a lot of sports here happening in early February. You got basketball, baseball spring training is coming up soon. Hockey All-Star game, All-Star weekend is this weekend, as well as, of course, the Super Bowl coming up in just about a week. So plenty to listen to. Radio K Sports Hour podcast on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts.
Prior to the timeout, a foul had been called against Joshua Ola Joseph, so the Wildcats will inbound from their own baseline.
Braden Carrington in for the Golden Gophers, so they have numbers 0 through 4 in order on the floor. Good high ball screen there by Matthew Nicholson. Got Garcia off the ball and an easy flush. Northwestern with a 7-0 run over the last just minute and a half, and the Golden Gophers haven't scored in over 3. Ola Joseph wanted to shoot from the key, or from the elbow rather. Post up underneath, good swing pass to Mitchell. Finds his dribble and it rattles out. That was gonna be an incredible basket there from Mike Mitchell and didn't get the roll. Barnheiser matched up against Carrington. At the point, Langborg bounce pass underneath. Good steal by Elijah Hawkins on an outlet pass. Pocket pass there for Ola Joseph. Flails wildly, and looks like that's gonna be free throws. First of the afternoon for either team.
And Chris Collins is in disbelief, the head coach for the Wildcats. That very nearly was a charge, and truthfully, it looked like the two officials disagreed on the original call. The one who was facing the play head on looked like he called a charge. The one coming from behind the play said that Barnheiser wasn't set. I'm just taking a look at the replay here, and Jack, this might have been a charge that the officials missed.
I think that was an offensive foul. Ola Joseph short on the first.
Wildcats on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Minnesota has not put a ball through the bucket in the last 3.5.
Ola Joseph's second free throw is up and good. So the Golden Gophers end the scoring drought. Ola Joseph shoots 75% from the free throw line, one of the better shooters on the team. They're led by Dawson Garcia with 82%. Bowie back on the floor for the Wildcats. Gives it to Martinelli. Swinging it around the three-point line. Bowie drives in. Pocket pass wasn't there.
That was caused by Dawson Garcia jumping off of his man, Matthew Nicholson, and getting in the face of Bowie. Bowie recognized that Nicholson was uncovered, but just couldn't get the pass in between the two defenders, and he launches it out of bounds.
Parker Fox subbed in for Ola Joseph. Gophers down 5. Mike Mitchell gives it to Parker Fox. He'll have the duty of covering Nicholson. Garcia, at the top of the three-point line, hands it to Hawkins. Hawkins driving in, elbow jumper is good. Elijah Hawkins with a tough shot that goes in, and the Gophers are down by a score.
Prior to fouling out in the Penn State game, Hawkins was having a really nice showing. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
Leads the team with 7.7 assists per game. Definitely a pass-first guard. Pass underneath. And that's going to be a turnover. Northwestern looked like they were looking for a hold underneath the basket. I think that was Bowie cutting to it. Pass didn't connect, and they turn it over.
That's 5 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of this afternoon's action for the Wildcats. On the whole this season, they're averaging 8.8 turnovers per game. So this is fairly uncharacteristic for this quality Wildcat squad.
Lob up top. Great pass there from Elijah Hawkins, and a mid-air catch and layup by Parker Fox. The Golden Gophers have cut the deficit to 1. Northwestern with 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes. Hunger at the three-point arc, working against Parker Fox. Swings it down low to Barnheiser. Defended there by Carrington. His 2-point shot, a little too strong. Rebound, Mike Mitchell. Gophers look to take the lead back. Crowd getting back into it. Carrington was wide open for three, but underneath for Garcia. Tough layup there and a timeout called by Northwestern.
The Golden Gophers come roaring back after that scoring drought. A fantastic find. Mike Mitchell from the wing outside the three-point line saw Dawson Garcia had some space to his right. A perfect bounce pass funneled into the paint. Garcia lays it up. Minnesota's on a 7-0 run over the last minute 50, and they have regained the lead.
We'll head to another break here on Radio K Sports. 9 minutes, 9 seconds, or will
I actually think we'll stay here. Northwestern's timeout was only a 30-second one. The crowd really into it now, Jack. Williams Arena has everyone standing.
The Golden Gophers have spread out the scoring. They've got nobody with more than 4. Pharrell Payne with the 4. Northwestern is being carried by Brooks Barnheiser. He has 7.
Minnesota's most successful in their games when their scoring is distributed around the 5 people on the court. In the games where Dawson Garcia has had 26, 27, even 30 points, Minnesota hasn't looked as complete as a team, and they haven't won all those games. It's when they really play a quality group effort game that they succeed.
Bowie almost lost it in a backcourt violation. He drives against Carrington, draws a foul. His high push shot rattles out, and he'll have free throws. Cam Christie subbed in for Mike Mitchell for the Golden Gophers.
Subbing out of the game for Northwestern is Matthew Nicholson. They bring in Blake Preston, the grad student forward who stands at 6'9", transfer from Liberty.
Looks like that foul was on the floor, so no free throws. And that'll be a travel on Preston.
It actually looks, I think they called an offensive foul there. It was Parker Fox who drew it as Preston was trying to push his arm away while getting into the paint. Parker Fox was fired up after that one. He is probably the smartest defensive player on this Golden Gopher team. If you had to bet on someone to draw a foul when Minnesota's opponent is on offense, it's Parker Fox.
That's the 7th turnover for Northwestern already in the game, and that has led to a 5-4 Golden Gopher lead, but Mike Mitchell turns it right back. Bowie looked like he wanted a 3. Up top for Langborg straight away. That's good. Like we said pregame, don't let this team heat up from beyond the arc. They've got multiple shooters that can hit it, and Langborg with a straightaway three-pointer finds nothing but net.
Despite Northwestern's 7 turnovers, Minnesota only has 7 points off of the turnovers. For reference, Northwestern has 8 points off of Minnesota's 3 turnovers, so the conversion rate has to improve for the Gophers.
Garcia swing to Mitchell. That's a shade too strong. And rebound Langborg. Gophers continuing to struggle from beyond the arc. Now 0 for 4. Bowie drives in. Right-hand push shot. That is undefendable.
I mean, he's moving parallel to the baseline, shoots on the run, and floats it in without the ball even touching the rim. That is impressive work from the grad student.
Had that against Mike Mitchell. Mitchell gets it at the point, defended there by Barry. Garcia drives in, kick out. Mitchell back to Garcia. 10 on the shot clock. Driving in, winds around. Good right-hand layup there. Beat Preston around the basket. And it's 19-17 Wildcats.
You don't see Dawson Garcia go on the dribble drive very often, but he was able to find a lane there, walk in, and hit the reverse layup.
Preston to Bowie. Defended there by Carrington. Back to Preston. Wanting to post up there against Parker Fox. Spin move, and Fox guilty of a foul this time on the floor.
Not a bad foul by Parker Fox, because he was beat on that spin move, and so he added a little extra contact as Preston went by him. Foul on the floor. Northwestern will have to reset as we have another timeout.
6 minutes, 51 seconds left. Northwestern up 2 here from Minneapolis. welcome back. Some more Golden Gopher basketball action. Other places around the Big Ten. There's already a game that's finished. That's Penn State against Indiana. Penn State, after they choked the big lead against the Golden Gophers, decided to show up today in Indiana, 85-71, wiping away the Hoosiers with a 48-point second half. Then Rutgers and Michigan at 3, and then Maryland, Michigan State, which should be a good one, at 4:30. But the big game of the weekend in the Big Ten, Purdue and Wisconsin tomorrow at noon, Nebraska, Illinois at 5:30. Bowie gets the inbound pass. Now receives it back, defended there by Pharrell Payne. Looked like Bowie just slipped, and they're going to call a foul on Pharrell. That's a tough break.
Coach Johnson is pleading his case to the official who called it, who was on the far sideline, and he's having none of it. Asking Ben Johnson to step aside so Northwestern can inbound it exactly where he was standing.
That is pretty funny. Ben Johnson's basically standing right next to Bowie as he inbounds it. Drive in by Langborg. Fakes out. He's got Pharrell Payne on him. That's a 3. Air ball. And that's a foul on underneath against Northwestern. That's Preston.
That's his second personal, the 15th foul for the Wildcats, and he'll be forced to head to the bench. Matthew Nicholson, the 7-foot senior who was the original starter for the Wildcats in the center position, checks back in.
Like Jason said earlier, center and big man depth is not the strength of this Wildcat team, and if they're going to go far in March, they're really going to need to find something. Pharrell Payne got fouled and tried to hammer a dunk. That was a shade too strong. Ball wound up in the crowd. 6 fouls for Northwestern here with 6:26 in the first, so the Golden Gophers will head to the bonus with the next Northwestern foul.
Northwestern has played sloppy basketball here, Jack, and the Golden Gophers, if you were to look at the fouls and turnovers on paper, should have a fairly sizable lead in this game, but the shooting just hasn't been there, especially from beyond the three-point line.
Hawkins along the far corner slings a pass all the way across. Carrington three-pointer misses everything. Golden Gophers still have yet to make a three-pointer, 0 for 5. Drive underneath by Barnheiser, caught Christie in the air, but his layup was too strong. Rebound bounces out to Langborg, shovels underneath. Good block there by Pharrell Payne. Referees call foul.
Second foul on Pharrell Payne. So now the Golden Gophers need to reevaluate what they do with their big men, because Parker Fox, as smart of a defender as he is not the same athlete as Pharrell Payne. And if he's going to have to play extended minutes in this game, the Golden Gophers are going to have to come up with a solution to Northwestern down low.
Hunger hits the first free throw off the rim. Carrington subs out, as does Pharrell Payne. In go Garcia and Mitchell. First free throws, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, first free throw for Northwestern this afternoon. Hunger's second is clean. Northwestern extends the lead to 4, 21-17 in their favor. Hawkins swings over to Christie, now to Mitchell. Back to Hawkins, watched there by Ty Berry. Haven't called his name a whole lot. He has 3. Hawkins trapped, has to sling it out to Mitchell, and the Golden Gophers look lost on the offensive floor. 3 seconds, Christie fires away for 3, again too strong. Parker Fox tried to go strong for a rebound, landed on Barnheiser. That's going to be a foul, loose ball foul against Parker Fox, and the teams are at 6 apiece.
Now Parker Fox has 2 fouls, so Isaiah Enon has to sub in, and Minnesota's bigs are already in a little bit of hot water in terms of their infractions.
Parker Fox looking up at the video board, saying that he didn't think he committed a foul, but now they run to 6 aside.
The Gophers are pressing Northwestern here. They have their 2 guards, Mitchell and Hawkins, up front to take on Bowie.
Bowie works it up to Langborg. Immediately gives it back to Bowie as he crosses half court. Watch there by Hawkins. Pass underneath for Barnheiser. Finds Barry, fires away for three. That toilet bowls in and out. Enan the rebound. Hawkins over to Cam Christie. Now to Enan. Blow by on the three-pointer. Looked like he wanted a two, but didn't take it. Now takes the three, and that's too strong. The Golden Gophers still struggling from beyond the arc.
They're 0 for 7.
Boo Buie will play almost the whole game along with Barnheiser. Hunger at the point. Hands it off to Buie. Defended there by Garcia. Garcia works back to Barnheiser. Barnheiser thought he traveled and poked away almost by Cam Christie, and that's a backcourt violation, or at least it thought it was a travel. Langborg for three, that's good.
Oh, he hit it with 1 second left on the shot clock. That's a backbreaker for the Golden Gophers, who had an outstanding defensive possession there and just couldn't handle the long three. Northwestern up by 7, 24-17, 4 minutes to play in the first half.
Mike Mitchell for three, that's too strong. Rebound Enan. Golden Gophers keep the possession alive. Mitchell back to Enan. Shot fake, poked out of his hands. Great job there. Good steal by Langborg. Another Northwestern three, that's good, and they are hitting everything. Ty Berry opens up a 10-point Northwestern lead as the Golden Gophers now 0 for 8 from beyond the arc. Ben Johnson wants time.
The Golden Gophers need to make an adjustment from the three-point shooting. Northwestern is giving them those looks because they're not hitting the shots, and Minnesota just doesn't seem to be taking advantage of the fact that their bigs are probably more athletic than Northwestern's. Dawson Garcia is definitely a better power forward than whoever he's matched up with, from Nicholson to Hunger to Preston. The Golden Gophers really aren't working the ball inside at all. 2 possessions ago, where they almost had the shot clock violation, Jack, they didn't even take a step inside the three-point arc with any player who had the basketball. There needs to be an adjustment from Ben Johnson here, and hopefully that's what this timeout is about. How can he spark the offense? How can the Golden Gophers win the points in the paint battle? Because Northwestern's killing them from outside, and the Golden Gophers are cold from three-point land.
Yeah, Northwestern can sit in man coverage, switching when necessary, because the Golden Gophers have really no threat beyond the arc, where they would force the Northwestern to kind of morph into more of a zone defense type that would really allow guys like Dawson Garcia to drive in and shoot from the 2-point range, where he really excels.
Minnesota has 14 of their 17 points in the paint this game. Northwestern only has 10 of their 27 in the paint. Clearly there is a differential there, and the Golden Gophers would like to exploit it if possible. In the meantime, on a positive note, Minnesota's only turned the ball over 4 times on the season. They're averaging 12.6 turnovers a game, and we know how shifty Northwestern is defensively. That's good ball work by the Golden Gophers, something that they need to keep up as this game progresses.
3 minutes and 45 seconds left in what has been an up and down first half for both teams, as we'll head to a quick break and be back in 30 seconds. Gophers really need some confidence here. Some dribble drives and working it inside the arc is what Jason and I have concocted as a medicine to this 10-point deficit. Garcia will do just that. And he is stuffed there soundly by Brooks Barnheiser on a double team. Northwestern looking to increase their lead. They've got a 13-2 run over the last 5 minutes. Bowie defended there by Payne and Hawkins. Swung around for Barnheiser. Hands it off to Martinelli, drives in, slips, no foul. 5 seconds on the shot clock. And looks like we're gonna have a travel here against Northwestern, so the Golden Gophers get a defensive stop, and Northwestern's 8th turnover.
It's good defense by Pharrell Payne there, keeping himself planted in the paint as Nicholson went to work on him. Despite having the size advantage, Pharrell Payne was able to muscle Nicholson away from the basket, and he slid his pivot foot, resulting in the travel call.
See if the Golden Gophers can get an and-one opportunity here. Both teams have only shot 2 free throws, so not too many fouls being committed. Garcia firing away for 3. That is too strong. Rebound, Northwestern. Nobody. There is a lid on the rim, but the Golden Gophers force a turnover. Mike Mitchell on the ground. Lines up with the ball. That'll be jump ball in possession of the Golden Gophers. Good hustle there from Mitchell to force Northwestern's 9th turnover.
Barry checks out of the game.
In goes, I think, Langborg.
Langborg's played fewer minutes tonight than I've expected. He's a pretty consistent force for them.
2 minutes, 36 seconds, and counting. Pharrell Payne at the point. Mitchell now to Hawkins, looking for Garcia underneath, gets it to him. Underneath the basket, defended by Barry. Looked like he wanted to post up, now does. Spins away, double team comes, slings it out to Mitchell, who has it poked away, and that'll go out of bounds for Northwestern.
Well, Mike Mitchell smartly tried to sell it as if the ball had been tipped by the Wildcats when he recognized he couldn't catch up to it, but the official saw right through it. That was a good double team on Dawson Garcia. It's rare to see him when he's in the post and trying to hit a fadeaway mid-range shot, get blocked and have to kick the ball out.
That's what Northwestern's game plan, I think, now is double Garcia, let the Golden Gophers shoot threes. As Booey's right-handed shot was looking for a foul against Hawkins, he brings it up quickly, finds Garcia underneath with a left hand and one.
Chris Collins is fuming on the Northwestern sideline. He just got warned by the official, but it's Elijah Hawkins driving in, a soft bounce pass through the paint. Dawson Garcia, strong layup with the left hand, got contacted. He'll head to the line. Like you said, Jack, he's the Gophers' best free throw shooters. That's another reason why they have to get the ball inside. Even if you don't make the possession, or if you don't make the basket, there's still a chance you get fouled.
Garcia missed the free throw, just as Jason said. He's the best free throw shooter. So the Golden Gopher deficit will stay at not 8. And I think we have foul on Langborg, off ball. 8th team foul against Northwestern.
Chris Collins is fed up with the officiating here.
10th turnover for Northwestern. Langborg comes off. 8 fouls for Northwestern, 6 for the Golden Gophers. Mike Mitchell on the Cambria court logo. Gets it over to Hawkins. Ball screen by Pharrell Payne, and that's going to be a foul on Northwestern's Luke Hunger. And Northwestern head coach Chris Collins again talking to the officials.
It's the 9th team foul for the Wildcats, and Chris Collins just finished up with one official and now calls a different one over to plead his case.
I mean,
he's 9-8 against Minnesota all time. Currently, the Wildcats are on a 2-game win streak. The Golden Gophers have not yet beaten Northwestern under Ben Johnson, but both of the times that they've played in his tenure have been on the road in Evanston.
Hawkins with the 1-and-1 and makes the first. That gets the Golden Gophers finally up to 20 points. The deficit is now 7. Hawkins with the back half of the 1-and-1 has 3 points. Looking for a 4th. And that's in. Hawkins cashes in on the foul. Gopher deficit is now 6. Minute 23 remaining in the first half has been a defensive struggle on both sides. Northwestern via turnover, Gophers via three-point shooting. Bowie on the block M at center court. Drives in against Garcia. Fakes and lays it up just a shade too strong. Tip shot doesn't go. Rebound Bowie. Jump pass looking for Cam Christie and Mike Mitchell. Fast break for the Golden Gophers. Hawkins over to Christie for three. That's good! The Golden Gophers have a three-pointer that cuts the lead to 4. Or that's a long 2, in fact. Foot was on the line. Crowd now getting into it. 40 seconds left in the first half. Bowie. Double from Garcia comes. He works back down low. Barry, blow by on Mitchell, and he turns it over. Mike Mitchell up ahead to Hawkins. Gophers looking to cut this to a one-possession game.
Northwestern has turned it over as many times, more times in this game than they have on average in full games throughout the season. They have 12 turnovers already.
Gophers' shot clock and game clock are separated by a couple tenths, so Elijah Hawkins will wait for a play. 6 seconds, 5. Hawkins dribbling, fires away a step back three. It's good! Elijah Hawkins buries one at the buzzer. An impossible shot from beyond the three-point arc, and the Golden Gophers head into the locker room down just 1.
That was an unbelievable shot. He was well behind the three-point arc. Fade away, man in his face, fell backwards to the point where he was laying on the block M logo for reference as to the range of that shot. And he still splashed it home as time expired. What a turn of events for the Golden Gophers. 9-0 run over the past minute 50 to close out the half, and what looked like a game that was on its way to getting out of hand is now a 1-point differential at halftime. My goodness, Jack. Back and forth we go.
And wouldn't it be nice if the Golden Gophers made their first three-pointer on easily the hardest three-point shot attempt on the afternoon. They're 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. We'll take a break and come back to start the second half. We'll give you a recap of what we saw in the first and the keys to give the Golden Gophers a victory here from Minneapolis and on Radio K Sports.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. After 20 minutes of action, the Golden Gophers and Northwestern Wildcats are tied at 27 apiece. During the halftime break, the officials reviewed Cam Christie's late three-pointer and determined that his foot was in fact behind the line. So Minnesota, in improbable fashion, has tied this game up and now has a chance to win it in half number 2. Some of the big performers throughout the first half of action: Elijah Hawkins had 7 points and 4 assists for the Golden Gophers. Dawson Garcia had 6 to his name. For Northwestern, it was Brooks Barnheiser who leading the team with 7 points on 3 of 6 shooting. He also had 7 rebounds, so he's already in double-double watch. Boo Buie only managed to get 4 points thanks to some quality Gopher coaching leading to nice defense on him, but he did contribute 5 assists. Langborg got the benefit of that. He has 6 points in 15 minutes played. Now, Jack, Northwestern did not play a half that was up to their standards, turning the ball over 12 times and committing 9 personal fouls. However, Minnesota's poor shooting from the field has allowed them to stay in this game. They controlled the momentum for the majority of the first half. What do you think Ben Johnson said to the team at halftime? What is he going to try and change leading into the second half of action?
I think he's going to say to this team, like, this is an uncharacteristic half from these Northwestern Wildcats. They're not going to turn the ball over 12 times in the second half. It's simply not going to happen. They're going to clean it up. Their game plan is going to shift, and Chris Collins is one of the better head coaches in the Big Ten, and especially for the reason that he's able to adjust to things. This is a team, again, that just lost to Purdue in overtime when they realistically could have won if Purdue didn't have 46 free throw attempts. So clearly there's going to be a strong message in the Northwestern room, and I would say from Coach Ben Johnson, work it underneath the arc. I mean, you hit your last 2 3-point shots, so now you're 2 for 11, but inside the arc, you're 9 for 14. And I think putting pressure on those Northwestern big men, who Hunger has 2 fouls. I think Nicholson might have 2 fouls as well. Getting into Northwestern's bench and working it underneath with guys like Dawson Garcia, Pharrell Payne. I believe Payne has 2 fouls, Garcia with just 1. So you don't have a lot of foul trouble, but working it underneath and shooting a little earlier in the shot clock, because most of their possessions tend to last a little longer. Putting a shot up if it's open, even if it's early in the shot clock, may not be a bad idea.
I love the point there, Jack. Something that I've noticed throughout the season is that the Golden Gophers spend the first 15 to 17 seconds of every possession just handing the ball off in a sort of off-brand weave beyond the three-point line before they finally start to even look at taking a shot at the basket. There is an argument to be made for clock control and possession time in that sense, but if you can set up a quick shot right off the dribble when you bring the ball up, take that every time. Minnesota has not necessarily done that so much throughout the season, but if Northwestern is going to pressure them hard beyond the three-point arc and make shooting long balls difficult, try and toss it in down low early in the possession and get a quick bucket. Catch them off guard. We are just about ready to start half number 2. If you're just joining us, Jason Ruttman and Jack Bartlett coming to you live from Williams Arena. It's the 13-7 Golden Gophers against Northwestern coming into this afternoon's matinee with a 15-6 record. Northwestern will inbound. They won the opening tip. It's Boo Buie bringing it across half court, guarded by Elijah Hawkins. High screen is set by Barnheiser. Buie bounces off it, tries a 3, and he rattles that home. Northwestern retakes the lead, 30-27.
That's confident from Buie. He hadn't shot a three-pointer in the game yet, but he was defended by only Dawson Garcia. And Garcia had to watch the dribble drive on the speedy Buie.
Minnesota now works it down low for Garcia. He tries to post up on the blocks. Backdoor feed. Payne goes up with it. It's swatted, and a foul is called. Pharrell Payne had his arm hit. They do say it was on the floor, so he will not shoot free throws. Instead, it'll be Mike Mitchell inbounding from beneath his own basket. It's Payne. He has it in the corner, tries to drive to the paint, poked away and knocked out of bounds by a diving Boo Buie. Minnesota retains possession.
Only 3.8 on the shot clock, however, so they're really going to have to heave a quick shot up.
We'll see who they inbounded to. They start with the players on the four corners of the paint. Screen set, they get it to Garcia. He looks around, chucks up a three, and that's short. Offensive rebound, Hawkins to Payne in the paint. Layup is good.
Great find there from Elijah Hawkins. He could have tried a push shot himself like Boo Buie did in the first half, but elected to find Pharrell Payne, who has 6.
Buie brings it up. Screen set. And Dawson Garcia now switches on to Buie, just like last possession. Buie drives inside, and a foul on the floor. That'll go against Garcia, his second.
I don't know why the Golden Gophers have all of a sudden switched up their defensive game plan against Buie, who they played great against in the first half, where they're having a bigger Garcia taking him up pretty much one-on-one, leaving Hawkins to cover somebody else.
And pardon me, that was Garcia's first personal. The team's first as well in the half. Buie tries a three, splash, nothing but net. Northwestern back up by 4.
I mean, that's the same spot he hit the most recent one, so same stroke, same result.
Buie now up to 10 points for the Wildcats. He leads their team in scoring with 18.8 per game. Payne gets the ball inside off the feed from Garcia and is fouled as he tried to go up for the lay-in. So it will be number 21 at the line for the Golden Gophers. Not a particularly good free throw shooter is Pharrell Payne. Minnesota on the season shooting just about 68% from the line. They went 3 for 5 in the first half.
Fouls on Buie, his first, team's first.
Payne shot a little too strong off the back of the rim and out. So the score remains 33-29 Wildcats. We appreciate you taking the time to tune in to Radio K Sports. Support Golden Gopher Student Radio. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And Payne hits the back of the rim again, goes 0 for 2 from the line. So Northwestern's still up by 2 possessions.
Something that we've seen all season. Pharrell Payne, if he's going to get an open bucket underneath, you might as well foul him.
Tyberry pulls a three that hit the front of the rim and is rebounded by Hawkins. Fast break for Minnesota, 3-on-3. Hawkins slows up now. Chucks it to Garcia, who's about 2 feet inside the three-point line. Now he'll back off and restart. He holds, looking for some help. Kicks it out to Cam Christie beyond the three-point line. Backhand pass. Garcia, long 2, no good. Offensive rebound, Payne. He goes up and gets the layup to go.
Pharrell Payne was calling for the ball that entire possession. He had Boo Buie on him for about 15 seconds and was waving his arms frantically in the air trying to get the ball, and wound up getting it anyways shortly then after and gets his second bucket.
Northwestern now. They have it with Barnheiser. He goes to work on Garcia. Spins, right-handed layup. That one hits the rim a couple times before falling in. 35-31 Wildcats. Minnesota brings it up with speed. Alley-oop attempt, too strong. Minnesota gets it back. Driving inside is Christie. Contested layup, has the ball swiped away. And, oh no, Elijah Hawkins is limping. And he goes right to the Minnesota bench and is down on the court in pain. This is not a good look for the Golden Gophers. Braden Carrington will sub back in as Hawkins will get attended to by medical staff. That would be a big loss for Minnesota. Hawkins leads the nation in assists per game with 7.7 coming into today's action.
Heavily favoring his left leg, so something with his right leg. He went right down the steps and looks like he's headed to the dressing room.
Carrington in place of Hawkins. Buie will send it across, and losing the ball is Nick Martinelli. That rolls out of bounds. Minnesota gets possession back.
Good no call on the foul. Martinelli just appeared to slip. Was defended well there by Carrington.
Garcia to inbound. It'll be Cam Christie bringing the ball up. Not his typical role. Cam Christie more of a spot shooter, and he bounce passes it to Mike Mitchell. It just slips through his fingers and goes out of bounds. Unforced errors hurting the Golden Gophers here in half number 2, where they're being outscored 8-4 through about 3 minutes, 20 seconds of play. Bowie brings it up, drives into the lane with the left hand, feeds it to the baseline. Layup was short from Martinelli. Offensive rebound taken in by Blake Preston. Kicked back out. Ryan Langboard, defended by Braden Carrington. 8 seconds to shoot. Carrington trying to get in front of Langboard. He spins, and the layup's no good. Northwestern gets it back as the ball was tipped out to half court. Bowie behind the back, going to work on Carrington. Spins, kicks it out. Three-pointer lined up and hit. Nick Martinelli knocks down the triple. Northwestern's back up by 7.
You got to have one of those 2 defensive rebounds if you're the Golden Gophers. You can't give Northwestern 3 consecutive possessions where they really don't generate much.
Pharrell Payne hands it off. It's Cam Christie working with the right hand beyond the three-point line. Now Payne inside to the blocks, kicks it out. Carrington drives, splits 3 defenders, and airballed the layup. Northwestern gets it back. 15 and a half left to go in the second half of this game. Minnesota looking to improve to an even 5-5 in Big Ten play. Northwestern currently sitting at 6-4. They would love to go 3 games above 500 here. Martinelli spins and hits the 7-foot turnaround. That prompts a timeout from Ben Johnson. The Golden Gophers trail by 9.
That'll be a full timeout, and Northwestern with a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes and change. And really on offense, the Golden Gophers just look lost without Elijah Hawkins manning the point, and a couple turnovers here and there. But now they're down by 9, just not even 5 minutes into the half. It's 40-31.
We'll step aside on Radio K Sports. Back here at Williams Arena, the Golden Gophers have not scored in the last 2 minutes 40 seconds. Northwestern on a 7-0 run, and they lead it 40-31. Minnesota coming off the timeout brings it up. It's Cam Christie, picks up a high screen from Pharrell Payne, but Bowie is able to work through that and pick him right back up. Christie still holding on to it. Now it's to Garcia, tipped out of bounds by Barnheiser. And another timeout on the floor. This should be a 30-second one, so we'll stay with you. If you're interested in getting involved with Radio K Sports, please reach out to us. RadioKSports@gmail.com. You can also contact us through the online portal, radiok.org. We would love to have you on our podcast, get you involved with some of our broadcasts. Like Jack mentioned in the first half, there's so much going on in the sporting world right now that the more people we can have, the better. We also like to think we have a pretty good time up here.
Oh, we always do. We'll be back finally. It seems like forever since we've had a home hockey game. Since early January, we had the back-to-back, I think. And next weekend will be Penn State. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be a fun series. And the Golden Gophers picked up a big win last night. Their men's hockey team competing at the Kohl Center in Madison. 2-1 OT victory despite getting outshot heavily. Justin Close played a great game. Oliver Moore has really shown up for the Golden Gophers since returning from the World Juniors. So this next series against Penn State should be a fun one with playoff and Big Ten tournament implications.
Yeah, he's got 17 points in his last 9 games since coming back. I'm not sure if that's due to teams researching and trying to cover Jimmy Snuggerud on that line more, but 17 points in 9 games is nothing to scoff at. Again, some of those against lesser competition to start the season, or to start the year, 2024. Always exciting, and it's going to be a tighter Big Ten than we're used to at all when it comes to hockey.
All in all, a very long-winded way of saying, come get involved with Radio K Sports. We'd love to have you. Turning our attention back to today's action, Northwestern has come out firing in the second half. They have 13 points through the first 5 minutes, holding the Golden Gophers to just 4. Boo Buie hit 2 big threes to start off the second half, and Nick Martinelli has contributed 5 points. And Minnesota doesn't really seem to have answers following the injury of Elijah Hawkins, who went down into the locker room with what appeared to be a right ankle, if I'm not mistaken, Jack.
Yes.
Hopefully it's nothing. Dawson Garcia had an ankle injury earlier in the season, causing him to miss a few games. But losing your court general is just as critical as losing your best big man. Minnesota inbounds it. Pharrell Payne tosses it down low, and there's a foul on the floor. That'll go against Blake Preston. That's Northwestern's second of the half, but it's Preston's third, so he's forced to check out of the game. Coming back in is Matthew Nicholson from Clarkston, Michigan. 7 feet tall, 280 pounds is he. Pharrell Payne gets the inbounds, drops it off. Christie tries a 3, too strong, and tipped out of bounds. That'll go off a gold jersey. Northwestern gets it back.
Speaking of the gold jerseys, we haven't even mentioned them yet. Golden Gophers wearing a throwback style. Got Minnesota on the top and Gophers on the bottom in a ring around the player's number. Jason and I both determined that we're fans of it.
The next game is a jersey giveaway for the first 1,000 students. That'll be on Tuesday evening against the Michigan State Spartans. Northwestern gets it inside. Martinelli spinning back and forth, layup just short. Payne gets the board.
That's strong defense from Dawson Garcia, staying with Martinelli the entire time.
Mitchell to the wing. Now inside. Payne kicks it out. Christie lines up a 3. It goes! Cam Christie.
Great ball action there from the Golden Gophers, working it underneath to the Pharrell Payne, and good vision to find Cam Christie. And a well-placed shot cuts the lead to 6.
Martinelli drives on the right side. Now flings it over to Barnheiser, and he can't handle the hot pass. It goes out of bounds. Minnesota gets it back. They're down by 6 right now. It's 40-34.
Chris Collins imploring the Wildcats to slow down on the offensive glass, or on the offensive side of things. They've still got a 6-point lead. Gophers need one of those 3-pointers if they want to cut it to 3.
Carrington wide open for 3. Too strong. Back out to him. Another try. Also too strong. Northwestern gets the board. 3-on-2 the other way for the Wildcats. Here's Bowie, slows up the pace, underhand pass, flying in. A wild layup there taken by Langboard. Minnesota gets it back. Here comes Mitchell. Christie, long two, splash. Pardon me, that's a three. He was just behind the line, and Minnesota has chopped Northwestern's lead down to 3. The fans back on their feet here at the barn, and Chris Collins uses a timeout. He's very animated over there on that Northwestern sideline.
He thought Langboard got fouled on the drive. Langboard kind of took an awkward spill as he went down. Pleading with the referees, as he has almost the entire game, as Chris Collins won't. That'll pretty much fall on deaf ears at this point. But a 3-point deficit, the Golden Gophers have hit some shots lately, forced Northwestern into a couple bad ones. They're right back in it.
And this is an exciting back and forth game. Northwestern had a big lead at one point following a 13-2 run. The teams have seen the lead flip to the other side 5 times. The Golden Gophers have been in the passenger seat for most of the game, only having the points advantage for approximately 3 minutes compared to 21.5 for the Wildcats. But right now it's 40-37, and the teams are coming out of their timeouts. The fans here are pumped up. A solid showing for this Saturday afternoon game.
13 minutes and 3 seconds in the second half remaining. Cam Christie leads all Golden Gophers now with 11.
Northwestern will inbound from in front of their own bench. Bowie gets it beyond the 3-point line, top of the key. Inside feed, kicked out, and Dawson Garcia steals it with one hand. Cam Christie drives, feeds it to Pharrell Payne. He crosses it, and now it's Elijah Hawkins back from the locker room and back onto the court. A great sight for Golden Gopher fans. Hawkins lofts it inside. Garcia's fouled. He was trying to secure the ball in the paint, and Northwestern has picked up their 4th of the half.
Goes against Barry.
Pardon me, that's Northwestern's 3rd team foul.
Mitchell inbound.
It's Payne near the baseline, trying to back in on the big man. Instead, he kicks it out to Mitchell. He drives, reverses course, and now gets it to Christie, but a foul on the floor. That's an offensive foul on Mike Mitchell.
I think it's on Hawkins. He
Pardon me, Hawkins, you're right, Jack.
basically ran over Ty Berry, but Christie makes another 3-pointer, even though it doesn't count. Christie's starting to heat up from beyond the arc. Tough break, though.
For Elijah Hawkins, that's his 3rd, what will count as his 3rd turnover of the game. 12:15 left to play in the half. Northwestern works it around the perimeter. Now it's Bowie looking for an outlet. He finds that in Ty Berry. Berry had 25 points against Purdue the last time Northwestern played, and getting fouled on the dribble drive is Barnheiser. Dawson Garcia, the guilty party, his 2nd, the team's 3rd. Heading to the line is Barnheiser. On the season, his free throw percentage sits at 75.
Barnheiser started out the game with 7 points early on. He has 9 now as he misses the first one short.
Shooting towards the direction of the student section. They're doing their best to distract him, waving their arms and holding up various signs. I think I see a LeBron James face in there.
Oh.
Ball sits on the back of the rim and falls in. 41-37 is the score. Hawkins brings it up for the Gophers. Bounce pass to Mike Mitchell beyond the 3-point line. Over to Christie. Now Hawkins once again. Minnesota trying to find some space to operate here. Northwestern's defense is tight. Backdoor feed for Payne, kicked out. Mitchell lines up a 3 from the wing. It goes! Mitchell cuts the Northwestern lead to 1. And listen to this crowd, Jack. All in as the fans rise to their feet. Bowie picked up by Pharrell Payne on the switch. He tries to drive, instead kicks it across. Langborg, 3, rims out, offensive rebound. Ball in the air, it's loose, and a foul called. Matthew Nicholson, the center on the second effort, draws the foul, and that prompts a timeout. He'll head to the line when we return on Radio K Sports.
Fans are not happy. Neither is Mike Mitchell. He felt like he just swiped the ball from Nicholson. Referee behind the play did not think so. Northwestern will gain foul or free throws?
Will be free throws when we return. Welcome back. You're listening to Gopher men's basketball on Radio K Sports. During the TV timeout, they took a look at Cam Christie's three-pointer and decided that his foot was on the line, so Northwestern's lead is 2. At the line shooting free throws is Matthew Nicholson. 11:15 left in the second. Nicholson, not a good free throw shooter. 45% on the season. He lines up for his first and sinks it. The disappointing thing about that timeout, Jack, is that the energy in here was way up. And then he took 2.5 minutes for the fans to sit and relax, and now it seems like the energy is kind of back at a standstill. The second free throw goes for Nicholson. 43-39 is the score. Elijah Hawkins, back from his ankle injury, brings the ball up. Seems to be moving pretty well on it, which is good. Tosses it down low for Garcia. He recovers after it was on the ground for a second. Into Payne, bounce pass. He goes up and is fouled. A travel is called. The foul and the travel occurred very close to each other, but the official was looking at the play from behind. Minnesota goes with a press here. Northwestern inbounds to Langborg. He gives it back to Barnheiser, who tossed him the ball to start the play, and he crosses half court. Now Nicholson. Garcia on Barnheiser. Barnheiser gets around him. Layup, spins, no good. Minnesota breaks the other direction. Christie lines up a three from the wing, just too strong. Bowie gets it. He'll slow down the pace, crawling at a snail's pace across midcourt. Here's Langborg, defended by Cam Christie, beyond the three-point line. Now Nicholson stands at the top of the key, 2 dribbles, looks for some help, finds that with Barnheiser. Barnheiser, quick pass to Ty Berry. Here's a mismatch. He's on Dawson Garcia. Drives down low and is blocked by Garcia. Out of bounds off of Ty Berry.
Great job defending there by Dawson Garcia. Almost all the time when you see a guy get beat and put his hand up, it's a foul, but he had great positioning on it and great defense.
10:05 left to play in the half. Minnesota still trailing by 4. Northwestern hasn't hit a field goal in the last 5:15, yet they hold on to the lead. Hawkins not moving, directing traffic. Now takes 2 dribbles, kicks it. Mitchell, 3, splash from range.
Golden Gophers back within 1. Every time that Northwestern has opened up a 2-score lead, the Gophers have had some kind of answer.
Bowie gets his high screen, steps back. He's defended by Garcia. It's another mismatch that the Wildcats like. Bowie over to Barnheiser. Barnheiser goes to work on the much shorter Elijah Hawkins. Finds his way inside and lost the ball. Minnesota gets it back. It's Hawkins. He pushes the pace. Slows up around the three-point line. Now looking for space near the baseline. Off of Dawson Garcia's hands and into those of Bowie's. He drives down low. Fouled. Layup no good. And are they saying this foul's on the floor here, Jack?
I think they are. Bowie can't believe it. Fouls on Christie. His first, team's 5th.
Subbing out of the game is Barnheiser. Replacing him is Nick Martinelli, who started the half with 5 quick points before picking up his second turnover and heading to the bench. Dawson Garcia, who has played the most minutes out of anyone, tied with Mike Mitchell, heads to the bench. Bowie gets the inbound, lines up a 3, quick release, and it goes. Wow, what a shot.
Bowie 3 for 3 from beyond the arc now, all of those coming in the second half.
He now leads all scorers with 13 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Hawkins gets a screen, drives inside, hands it off, and Pharrell Payne hammers it home! Oh my!
What a pass by Elijah Hawkins, and Pharrell with the monster right-hand jam. Pharrell's been outstanding under the bucket tonight, or this afternoon for the Gophers. Let's see if they can get a defensive stop.
Oh, he put Blake Preston on a poster. Now a foul is called on Pharrell Payne, as he was a little overzealous with the body contact on Langborg. That's Minnesota's 6th team foul for Pharrell Payne. That's his 3rd personal, so Minnesota will look to their bench. No, Ben Johnson elects to keep Payne on the court. An interesting gamble.
I like that call. Pharrell's been so good in the paint and just occupying space underneath. I think you let him play with 3 fouls right now. Obviously, if he picks up his 4th, then you probably got to take him out.
Northwestern inbounds it to Nicholson. 2 dribbles, gives it to Barry. Barry forced beyond the 3-point line, and he'll kick it over to Martinelli.
Oh.
Bowie, another 3. This one is a little short off the front of the rim and into the hands of Pharrell Payne. That's his 6th rebound. Now it's Hawkins trying to rotate around. Inside feed, that was into traffic and intercepted by the Wildcats.
Hawkins just trying to do too much on that play. There were 4 Wildcats converging on the paint as Cam Christie, tried to drive.
Bowie crosses over and now hands the ball off. Langborg gets it to Ty Berry. Berry with some space into the lane. Ball's on the floor, and it's recovered by Martinelli. Ty Berry pulls up from the wing, and that is a make on about a 13-foot jumper.
Mike Mitchell went on a slip and slide there.
48-44, 7:15 left to play. Minnesota has hit 4 of their last 5 shots from the field. Hawkins thought about a 3, now offers it over to Mitchell. He pulls up, shot's too short. Rebound Bowie. Bowie's having a nice game, 13.6 assists, now 4 rebounds. Fans getting back into it here, under 7 minutes to play. Northwestern, 48-44. Martinelli over to Langborg. His 3-pointer is a liner that goes in.
Northwestern continues to punish the Golden Gophers from beyond the arc. 10 for 17 from behind.
Foul from behind, and Martinelli has some complaints for the officials as he contacted Elijah Hawkins, who maneuvered around him as he brought the ball up. We have reached another TV timeout. When we come back, the Golden Gophers will have possession. They trail by 7. Back here on Radio K Sports, the Golden Gophers will inbound from the sideline. It's 51 to 44. Wildcats lead. Just over 6.5 left to play. The momentum going into the timeout was in favor of Minnesota following a Pharrell Payne slam and then a foul call on the Wildcats. But after the timeout, this place is about as quiet as it has been all day. Elijah Hawkins has it beyond the three-point line. He gets a screen from Payne, drives towards the baseline, nearly goes out of bounds, and a kickball violation on the Wildcats. That actually prevented a turnover, as that was a bad pass by Hawkins, so a fortunate break for Minnesota.
Shot clock also resets. The shot clock was at about 7 on the drive.
Mitchell inbounds to Hawkins. He drives the baseline, high floater, it falls.
Good to see Elijah Hawkins continuing to attack the basket even with the bad ankle. Gophers now down 5.
Nicholson across, Martinelli, Barry, three-pointer, Langborg hits it. My goodness, Northwestern is 11 of 18 from beyond the three-point line, Jack. Over 60% of their points have come from threes. That's unbelievable.
Thing is, too, Langborg's hit almost all of his threes from the same spot, the left wing. And that was an identical one to the one he hit just earlier.
Minnesota tries a three of their own. Cam Christie off the back rim. Rebound to Martinelli. He hits the deck, trying to time up is Mitchell, and a travel is called on Martinelli.
It's a fortunate call there for the Golden Gophers, who are going to need a bucket with 5.5 left to stay in the game. Northwest just punishing from beyond the arc. It's unbelievable. On the season, they're 38% from beyond the arc, and right now they're shooting 61.
Oh my goodness. Mike Mitchell to inbound. He gets it to Garcia. Garcia looks to drive baseline. Contested layup, no. Ball tapped out and taken in by Hawkins. Hawkins gives it right back to Garcia. He's trapped. They play pitch and catch as Hawkins gets it back. Hawkins, double teamed, crosses over, inside to Payne. He is fouled down low. Chris Collins looks like he's about to have an aneurysm on the Northwestern sideline.
I think Boo Booey's joining him in that. Just after the last couple foul calls against Northwestern, he's looking over at the bench as if to say, I don't know where it's happening. You don't know where it's happening.
Mitchell will inbound from Minnesota's baseline. Garcia has it in the corner. Looks to create some space for himself. Pulls up from 6 feet, and the ball rims out.
Just kind of slipped on the pull-up. Looks like he wanted to get more airtime, but his left foot kind of slipped out from underneath him.
Northwestern gets it back. They've hit their last 3 shots from the field, and they lead by 8. Send it around the perimeter. Now Langborg drives, crosses over, behind the back, and he's forced to kick it out to Ty Barry. Good defense there by Christie. Barry is locked up by Mitchell, loses the ball, gets it back, chucks up a 3 off the rim, no good. Shot clock was expiring. He did get the shot off in time. Rebound to Minnesota. Mitchell, Hawkins, holds on to it, crosses over, looks for space, splits down the lane and lays it in for 2.
Thought that might have been too many steps.
It
but
sure looked like it.
Great. That looked like 3 or 4. One, two, maybe 3, but gather step.
4 minutes to go here in Minneapolis. Gophers trail by 6. Bowie walks inside, right hand layup, too strong. Rebound Payne, pushing it up court. Hawkins slows up around the 3-point line, steps back, hands it to Mitchell. Mitchell over to Christie on the far wing. He's well beyond the 3-point line, can't shoot from there, drives in, left-handed layup, it falls! Hit the rim 3 times before going in.
And the Golden Gophers with a stop here can get within a score.
The energy at an all-time high for this game. Bowie picked up by Garcia, he's screened. 3:15 to play. Bowie drives and a foul called on the floor. That looks like it'll be against the Golden Gophers.
Garcia.
And it will prompt a timeout. That's the 7th team foul, so that puts Northwestern in the bonus. Plus it's Garcia's 3rd.
Bowie shoots 85 from the line, so not a guarantee he'll miss one.
And this is exciting stuff here, though, Jack. The Golden Gophers were trailing by 9 at one point this half. Northwestern was hitting threes left and right, and Minnesota just hasn't quit yet. It's a nice all-around team effort. Hawkins with 11, Payne with 10, Christie with 12. Dawson Garcia has 6, and this has been one of his worst showings of the year, but his flaws have been covered up by the quality play of his teammates. Minnesota only has 3 points off the bench, very uncharacteristic for them. Northwestern has relied on their most consistent players to keep them afloat. Bowie with 13, Langborg with 12, Barnheiser with 10.
I think the biggest thing is that because Ola Joseph started so cold from the field, Coach Ben Johnson hasn't elected to go with him much. I mean, he's only got 8 minutes on the floor. Carrington will most off the bench with 10. But really, it's been the starting 5, other than with the exception of when Hawkins went out and Carrington had to come in, which is unusual. I feel like Coach Ben Johnson typically likes to use his bench a little more. Starters have been well utilized throughout the game.
Well, we have about 90 seconds here. We want to remind you to check out at Radio K770. That's our parent company's social media handle. Also, see all the great stuff that they're doing over there from Rarig Center on West Bank, radiok.org. We do appreciate all that they do for us. So, Jack, 3:14 left to play. The Golden Gophers trail by 4. They have been outscored by Northwestern in this half, 27-23. But I feel like this was a more complete half for them than the first 20 minutes of play.
I think it was, and they've continued, to their credit, to force Northwestern turnovers. They're now at 17 turnovers on the game.
That's over double their season average.
That is something you will not see every game from this Northwestern squad, but they've made up for it from beyond the arc, and then some. So the one thing that the Golden Gophers, they're going to have to make a three-pointer eventually, just to, on sheer volume and the amount of time that's left on the clock.
Minnesota is shooting 25% from three-point land this game. That's 5 of 20. Coming out of the timeout, Bowie is at the free throw line. First shot up and good. 55-50 Northwestern. A low-scoring affair here in Minneapolis. The Wildcats trying to extend their win streak against the Golden Gophers to 3.
Over-under was set at 137 for the game.
Bowie misses the second. Minnesota gets the rebound, and they'll bring it up court slowly. Elijah Hawkins against Bowie. They both wear number 0. Payne sets a screen. Hawkins breaks to his right. Bowie stays with him. Garcia back to Bowie. The switch puts Barnheiser on Hawkins. Pharrell Payne now with it, right near the three-point line. Back to Hawkins, only 6 to shoot, and a foul is called. We'll see what they say. It's a blocking foul, I believe, on Bowie. That is Northwestern's 6th as a team. For Bowie, only his 2nd personal. Minnesota inbounds. Hawkins thought about a pop and shoot, but decided to hold on to it. Now he crosses over, drives towards the paint, goes all the way through on the baseline. He's forced to toss it to Garcia. He spins and lays it in from the block.
Beat the double team there, did Dawson Garcia. He has 8 now. That's Northwestern's defensive strategy. Double Garcia, leave the guys open for 3.
2:20 to go. Northwestern up by 3. Bowie works inside. Wild layup is too strong and out of bounds off of Minnesota. And not a good shot selection by Bowie there. He was trying to take it himself and ended up throwing it way off the top of the glass. Fortunate for Northwestern to retain possession. They inbound it. Garcia defends Barnheiser. Bowie picked up by Hawkins. Barnheiser at the free throw line is slowed up. Now backdoor feed and huge rejection. Nicholson thought he had the slam, but it was blocked. Three-pointer away, no good, and out of bounds off of Northwestern.
Pharrell Payne continues to show his defensive prowess in this game. He's been great underneath the rim. He's generally stayed out of foul trouble, and Ben Johnson has him on the floor still with 3 fouls. He hasn't left since he picked up that third.
No one has improved more than Pharrell Payne since coming to the University of Minnesota on this basketball team. He went from raw, untouched talent to a really, really good player. He's shown it today, and now a blocking foul against Boo Buie.
That's his third. So Garcia, best free throw shooter for the Gophers, will head for a 1-and-1, both teams with 7 fouls.
Exactly 100 seconds left to play in regulation. Minnesota trails by 3, but their best free throw shooter, Dawson Garcia, is going to the line. Garcia has only attempted 1 free throw this game. He missed it. First one is up and in. 55-53 now. Northwestern has not hit a field goal in the last 4:15. The Golden Gophers have gone 3 of their last 3 from the field. Garcia gets the ball back for free throw number 2, looking to make this a 1-point game. It's up and it goes. Oh my.
If you're the Gophers on this possession, you better defend the three-point arc because you know Northwestern's going to go there, try and make the lead 4.
Everyone standing. Barnheiser walks inside, foul called on Garcia. He was trying to work through a screen set by Buie. That's the 4th personal on Garcia, 8th team foul for Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a foul. He ran into Buie and extended his right arm. Buie sold it well, but...
And the big guy is always going to lose the battle when a high screen is set. Bowie's only 6'2", Garcia's 6'11". Not much he could do there. Correct call. Buie, 1-and-1, first free throw goes. 56-54 Wildcats. Minnesota needs a Buie miss here if they want to take the lead on this next possession. He lines it up and knocks it down.
Buie continues to hit big shots down the stretch for this team, whether that's free throws or three-pointers.
1:25 left to play. Hawkins patrolling the backcourt. Christie to Payne, looking for someone to hand it off to. He finds Mitchell. He gets tied up. Over to Hawkins once again. Now to Garcia in the post. Tries to go in baseline. He's stuffed. And what's the call here? It's going to be a foul against Northwestern.
Is that on the shot? Or on? I think it's on the shot.
It wouldn't matter either way. There would be free throws. The question is it 1-and-1 or is it 2 guaranteed? It is 2 free throws, so they do deem it a shooting foul. Nicholson is the one that they assessed the infraction to. Garcia hits the first. Right back to a 2-point spread.
Minute 8.
Northwestern has led this game for over 33 minutes. Minnesota has only led for 2 minutes 48 seconds as Garcia hits his second free throw. 1:07 left to play. 57-56 Wildcats. They bring it up court. Barnheiser, defended by Garcia. He works around a screen. Barnheiser rotates the other way, tries to drive. Foul called.
On the shot.
Oh.
That is a tad soft. I don't think Hawkins really got his hand in there. We'll see on the replay.
Hawkins got ball first. His hand rolled off the ball and hit the wrist and forearm of Barnheiser. I think it's the correct call. On the shot is a different story. He was still, I don't know that you can argue that he was in the shooting motion there, Jack. Barnheiser hits his first. It hit the front of the rim twice before dropping through. Northwestern now leads by 2, 53 seconds to go. A critical free throw here for the Wildcats, and it's no good. Rebound to Mike Mitchell. Minnesota has a chance. They're down by 2, 50 seconds to play. Could we see an upset in Minneapolis? Hawkins, Euro step, kicks it out. Christie 3, it goes! Cam Christie! Oh my goodness!
The Golden Gophers have their first lead in what seems like forever. Northwestern not taking a timeout.
I have chills, Jack. This is unbelievable. Bowie tries to drive in with the left hand. Blocked by Payne! Rebound! Christie, Minnesota outlets it, and Hawkins is fouled.
Pharrell Payne with a monster block on the defensive end of things. His third on the game. Bowie trying to play hero ball, and Pharrell Payne says absolutely not.
What an effort from this Golden Gopher squad. Hawkins will shoot free throws. Minnesota leads by 1, 20.1 seconds to go.
Referees conferring here to discuss. I'm not sure about what. Both teams now have 9 fouls. Way to go by Pharrell Payne, getting the huge rejection and not fouling Bowie underneath. Bowie went down on the layup, or more, it was one of the sky hook shots that's pretty typical from point guards these days. And Elijah Hawkins has a momentous 1-and-1 where he is 76% on the season.
The Golden Gophers from the free throw line in this game are 7 for 11. Hawkins hit both of his earlier in this afternoon's action. He lines up his first free throw, spins the ball into his hand, dribbles once, squares it up, and knocks it down. Minnesota up by 2. It's 60-58.
He needs to make this second free throw because there's nothing saying that Northwestern's going to miss any given three-pointer that they shoot, regardless of how wild the shot is.
Silence as the second free throw's up, and it falls! Minnesota's up by 3. Chris Collins takes a timeout from the Northwestern sideline.
This game has really given a lot of Gopher fans hope. They've been down almost the entire second half. We're down almost, actually, in fact, they were down 10 at one point, 5 minutes in, and we're down 9 later on in the game. They've just stuck around with timely baskets, and timely free throw shooting again is really helping out the Golden Gophers. Starting to find the three-point shot. Obviously, Mike Mitchell with a huge three-pointer to give the Golden Gophers the tie, but Pharrell Payne has really been the story of this game defensively and offensively.
Pharrell Payne has 10 points on 5 of 6 shooting. He has 7 rebounds and 2 assists in 29 minutes played. That's a lot of minutes for the big guy.
Has 2 blocks, maybe even 3 on there for him as well.
Oh my goodness. I mean, when Pharrell Payne came to the University of Minnesota as a freshman last year, he really was not eating up a lot of minutes. He was drawing a ton of fouls, and the talent was there, but the execution was not. We have seen a complete role reversal this year. He's worked unbelievably hard in the gym here throughout the summer. Ben Johnson working with him to improve, and the results are showing here in a big way. Minnesota has some unbelievable talent in number 21.
Looks like Ola Joseph is going to come onto the floor for Garcia, who has 4 fouls. He'll take a seat on the bench. He has not had his best game by any means this afternoon, but he's made a couple clutch free throws. He has 12 points, but has the 4 fouls.
Northwestern will inbound from beneath Minnesota's scoring basket. It's Bowie, double teamed, and a foul called on Elijah Hawkins. 1.7 seconds ticked off the clock there. That's Hawkins' third, and actually that might be a smart move, Jack, because that eliminates the opportunity for Northwestern to hit a three-pointer on this possession. Because they're in the bonus, and now that's Minnesota's 10th foul, they're guaranteed to shoot 2 free throws, but they don't have the opportunity to walk down the court and hit a 3.
And Bowie is probably, again, like we said, great free throw shooter. Money's on.
He misses the first.
I was just going to say money's on him making both of them. Is that his first free throw miss on the... It is his first or second free throw miss in the afternoon.
Garcia subs in after getting a quick breather, and Ola Joseph remains in the game as Pharrell Payne heads to the sideline for a quick breather. He was gassed at the end of last possession. Bowie's second free throw goes, so the lead is cut to 2 for the Golden Gophers. Northwestern, full court press. Cam Christie to inbound. Minnesota runs a football-like play to get the ball into Mike Mitchell. He's trapped by 3 Wildcats. Ball goes out of bounds. Who's it off of? It's off of Northwestern's Ty Berry.
I think they pointed, actually, that's Northwestern possession. They thought it went off Garcia.
Oh, my. Well, let's see where we go from here. I would venture to guess that this is one that the officials will look at, and that's exactly what they're going to do. It was very close. On the sideline, Ty Berry and Dawson Garcia were locked up with one another, and there was a bounce pass from Mike Mitchell. Unclear who it went off of right now. 2 officials are huddled around the replay monitor. Both teams using this as an opportunity to rest up and work on the whiteboards for an additional timeout. 13.4 seconds left to play. Northwestern has not hit a field goal the last 5 minutes, 42 seconds. The Golden Gophers have been brought back into this game, largely thanks to the efforts of Cam Christie, who has 15 points, and Pharrell Payne.
Referee still conferring, looking at the TV right next to the Gophers bench.
In terms of fouls, Minnesota has 10 team fouls, so Northwestern's in the double bonus. The Wildcats have 9. So the next foul that they take, Minnesota will also be shooting 2 free throws for the remainder. We knew that this was going to be a fun game. The line was set at 1.5 in favor of the Wildcats, but this is about as exciting as it gets in college basketball. Minnesota kept hanging around. Northwestern could not widen the lead far enough to push them away.
If I'm Northwestern, you got 2 guys you're looking at right now, Boo Buie and Ryan Langborg. Langborg on the left side, Buie from really anywhere. They've both been hitting all of their shots from beyond the arc this afternoon, and you're trying to get a play to get one of them open, maybe even let Buie dribble out the clock and go one-on-one with Hawkins.
The officials are taking a very long time here, making sure that they get the correct call, examining the play from every camera angle available to them. Everyone on their feet through this timeout here at Williams Arena. This has been a fun one, Jack, and we get to do it again on Tuesday when the University of Minnesota plays host to Michigan State. Tip-off set for 8 p.m. here from Williams Arena.
It's a late start on a weekday.
It is. I think the goal is to make sure people have plenty of time to get here from their jobs, potentially avoid some of the rush hour traffic. But that'll be a fun game. Michigan State has performed below expectations this season, according to most experts. And the Golden Gophers have exceeded expectations, so that could make for a fun matchup. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell on the Radio K YouTube channel that you're listening to us on right now. That way you won't miss any of our broadcasts or new Radio K music videos.
Well, the teams seem, or both of the teams seem like they're almost out of things to talk about. This review is taking so long.
Northwestern is. They're simply looking at the officials. Coach Ben Johnson still is working on the whiteboard with his squad. The Wildcats have basically broken their huddle already. But, I mean, the game plan is very simple for them. They need, depending on what the outcome is here, they will go to one of their best plays in the book to try and get either a 2 or a 3 to tie. If the officials award the ball to Minnesota, then Northwestern just has to foul. It's as simple as that. Minnesota has a little bit of a different conundrum. where the question is, do you let Northwestern try and get a 3 off, a low percentage shot, but one that they've been hitting throughout the night, or do you foul and allow them to go to the free throw line with the chance to tie the game?
I think that you cannot give them a three-pointer at this point. That would make it a deficit for the Golden Gophers. If Northwestern's going to get 2, they're going to get 2, and they're going to have to do it the hard way. But I think the Golden Gophers will mostly go beyond the arc, and referees finally confer and say it's Northwestern ball.
Simply due to the length of that review, I would venture to guess that they don't have enough evidence to overturn. So Northwestern will inbound from their sideline. Minnesota goes with Garcia, Hawkins, Ola Joseph, Cam Christie, and
Mike Mitchell.
Mike Mitchell is hiding somewhere in the mess of players currently centered in the paint. Inbound to Nicholson. 12 to shoot. Shot clock turned off, and a timeout called by the Wildcats, Langborg.
Langborg called that because he didn't expect Cam Christie to be right on him. That's a very smart play. If you don't see that you're got a good look at 3, or you don't see the defensive switch that you were anticipating, call a timeout and use it if you've got it. Now clock down to 9.7.
So both teams will huddle up once again. We'll stick with you through this timeout. The officials are talking in the middle of the court.
I'm assuming they're discussing the decision that was made on the out of bounds play.
Either that or potentially where they want to position themselves to make sure that they have the best angle of the final shot. Cannot mess up a foul call on that one. Northwestern's bench and coaching staff have been griping all game about the calls. Ben Johnson has been less vocal to the officials. And the teams should be coming out of their timeout soon. Northwestern will inbound from the sideline in front of their bench, so that's on the offensive end of the court for them. They're shooting towards the University of Minnesota student section, who are working very hard to keep the energy and noise up here. Not hard to do in a game like this.
Both teams do have a timeout left, so if Northwestern gets trapped or Minnesota gets stuck in a bad switch, timeouts can be used.
Langborg will be the one to inbound the ball. Christie stands in front of him. The Wildcats set up their players around the paint. Bowie gets the ball. 8 seconds to shoot. He's not moving. Tries to drive baseline. Layup! Won't go, but a foul called.
If that went, that is a completely different look. Good defense from Elijah Hawkins to stay with Bowie on the drive. Bowie's missed a couple free throws, so it's no guarantee that he hits both. If he does, the Gophers are going to have 4.8 to drive it down the court and look for a buzzer beater.
If he misses one, Minnesota keeps the lead. If he hits them both, we're tied. First one is a swish. 61-60. And now Minnesota takes a timeout. Take a second to catch our breaths here, Jack. This is one free throw for the ages. Northwestern has played such good basketball recently, upsetting number 10 Illinois in overtime, 96-91. Beating Ohio State by 25, 83-58. Taking number 2 Purdue to overtime and scoring 96 points in that game. And now the University of Minnesota is proving to be another big test for them. The Gophers lead it 61-60. Boo Bowie has one free throw here with 4.8 seconds. If he makes it, we're tied. And Minnesota has a chance to hit a buzzer beater and win. If he misses, Northwestern either needs to get a rebound or they need to foul. It's as simple as that. Fans starting to pump up the noise once again. One free throw for it all. Bowie gets the ball, puts it to his hip, eyes up the basket. 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, now shoots, and he hits it. We're all tied.
Northwestern takes, well, they will not take a timeout.
They make a substitution. They pull out Nicholson and put Martinelli back in.
They need speed.
4.8 seconds. Minnesota will inbound it. Here's Hawkins. Drives up court. Pulls up from half. Off the rim, no good. We got extra basketball.
I think that Elijah Hawkins could have even dribbled in a little closer. Elected to take the shot, did not want to get the buzzer called on him. And now we're headed to overtime, which is another conundrum considering that both Elijah Hawkins and Dawson Garcia have 4 fouls for the Golden Gophers.
Overtime will be 5 minutes as both teams take a breather. How did we get here? At the end of the first half, it was 27-27. The Golden Gophers were 2 of 11 from three-point land in the first half. Those 2 coming very, very late, one being a buzzer beater by Hawkins to tie it up. Then Northwestern went on a nice run to start the second half. At one point, they were up by as many as, I believe it was 8 or 9 here in half number 2. And the Golden Gophers slowly clawed their way back into this game. Elijah Hawkins has 13 points. Dawson Garcia has 12. Cam Christie has 15. Pharrell Payne has 10. For the Wildcats, Boo Buie has come alive this half. He has 19 points. Langborg has 12. Barnheiser has 11. 61-61 as we approach the start of overtime. This is the first overtime game for the Golden Gophers this season. Northwestern has played 2 overtime games in their last 3, splitting those 1-1.
The thing that I am most scared about is what I mentioned earlier. 2 of the 5 biggest players tonight or this afternoon, Elijah Hawkins and Dawson Garcia, are 1 foul away from spending the rest of the game on the bench.
In the meantime, the Wildcats have only 1 starter with 4 fouls. That is Nicholson, who will jump off against Pharrell Payne. Nicholson won the opening tip. He does have a height advantage over Payne by 3 inches.
Nicholson also playing with 4 fouls.
Payne wins this one. Overtime is underway. 61-61 the score. If you're just joining us, Jason Ruttman, Jack Bartlett with you from Williams Arena, Minnesota, looking to upset the Northwestern Wildcats. Hawkins picked up his dribble and now does a little give and go with Payne. Garcia gets it, squares up, long 2 off the back of the rim, rebound to Buie.
Good spot up 2 there from Garcia, just a shade too strong. He's 4 for 12 from the floor.
Here's Barnheiser behind the 3-point line to Langborg. Back to Barnheiser. He's closer to half court, now starts to make his way inside. He pulls up for a long 2, also too strong, and that rebound is into the hands of Elijah Hawkins. Hawkins brings it back for Minnesota. We've played 50 seconds of overtime. Mike Mitchell tries to drive on the left side, forced to turn around and kick it back out. Cam Christie, defended by Ty Berry. Rotates, hands it off. Payne back to Christie beyond the 3-point line. Over to Hawkins, 7 to shoot. Drives in, under feed, and a nice layup for Pharrell Payne. A little scoop gives Hawkins the assist, and Minnesota's up by 2. We have played about a minute and a half of overtime. Here's Buie to the elbow, out to Barnheiser for 3. No good. Rebound to Payne.
Tough rebound there from Pharrell Payne. That's back-to-back possessions where he's gotten the rebound over Nicholson, the taller man.
Mike Mitchell now. Hawkins on the wing behind the 3-point line. Over to Cam Christie. Jab step, pull up 2. No good. Barnheiser with the board. Outlet to Buie. He jogs up court. Setting a high screen. No, it was a fake. That was Nicholson. Langborg, contested layup. It falls.
Wow.
We're Tied up once again, 63 apiece. 2:50 to play in OT.
Tough scoop layup there from Ryan Langborg. Had to work his way all the way around Pharrell Payne's block, high off the glass. Finds the front rim and in.
Mitchell looking for Payne. He has space down low. No foul called as a player hit the deck. Garcia spots up for three. Bang! Dawson for three!
Needed that. Dawson Garcia was 0 for 3 from beyond the arc before that point. And the Gophers are up 3.
2:15 to play. 66-63 in favor of the home team. Bowie trying to drive in. He's cut off by Hawkins. Now Langborg gets around Christie. Layup. No good. Off the rim. Ball is loose. Saved momentarily. Who's it off of? Officials say it's off of Minnesota. Dawson Garcia is begging for a replay.
I think he threw that off of a Northwestern player. I'm not sure if that was Nicholson underneath. The referees need to review that. I am almost certain that went off of Northwestern.
And review is what they will do. Exactly 2 minutes left to go in overtime. And the officials head over to the scorer's table once again to grab the replay monitor. We're taking a look at it here on the board. Jack, what do you see?
I see a clear bounce, unless it nicked Dawson Garcia on the way out of bounds, which I don't think it did. He actually fell off of the raised court, and almost instantly it's Minnesota ball.
A much shorter review this time, and the Golden Gophers get it back. Pandemonium in Minneapolis. Garcia hits a three and then makes potentially a game-saving defensive play, throwing the ball off of a Northwestern player's leg to give Minnesota another offensive possession.
One thing that will often go unnoticed because he's had a strong game, Elijah Hawkins has played some very good defense against Boo Buie. Boo Buie, 5 for 12 from the field, but 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. Doing some quick math, that's just 2 for 8 from inside it. And even with 4 fouls on that last play, Bowie attempted to drive in, get a favorable matchup, and draw Hawkins' 5th foul. Couldn't do so.
Here's Cam Christie. He's defended by Ty Berry. Offers the ball up to Payne. Back to Christie. Around, and now a foul on the floor as Garcia is down. That's a foul against Langborg. And is that his 5th? It is.
No, that's 10th.
Pardon me, that's the 10th.
Against Northwestern.
Right, in collegiate basketball, the fouls carry over from the second half to overtime. So now both teams are in the double bonus. 10 team fouls apiece. And correction for Langborg, that is his 3rd personal. Dawson Garcia has 2 free throws here and a golden opportunity to put Minnesota up by 2 possessions. First free throw falls.
Dawson Garcia now 5 for 6 from the line, and he hit a couple good ones down the stretch. Let's see if we can get number 2.
Garcia spins it to himself, 1 bounce, puts it up, and goes 2 for 2 from the line. How clutch is he? Northwestern gets it to Bowie, $1:45 to play. Minnesota up by 5. Bowie thought about a 3, drives in, over to Barnheiser. He gets tied up in the corner looking for an outlet, finds Bowie again on the wing. He goes to work, defended tightly by Hawkins, falls down, ball nearly turned over, kept in, and now a foul called against Cam Christie.
There were a couple times in that possession Northwestern nearly turned it over, and still some excellent defense from Elijah Hawkins. Looks like Langborg just kind of lost it. Christie had his arms up like he didn't touch him. I don't know if he got ball or hand.
Hang on a second here, Jack. Are they saying that the foul was on Elijah Hawkins? Or are they saying that they need to review this? Because Hawkins is speaking with the officials near the Golden Gopher bench. If it is a foul on Hawkins, then he's done. That's 5 fouls for him. And now the officials will review it.
That has to be on Mike Mitchell. Or, sorry, Cam Christie.
That's what I saw as well. Hawkins was in the vicinity, but I don't think he ever made contact with him.
Never, no.
Huh. This is a curious one.
We've had our fair share of referee reviews down the stretch here. This game started at 1 o'clock. It's 3:17 right now, which is obviously with overtime, you've got a bit of added time in there, but that's abnormally long for a basketball game, especially one that's only 68 to 63.
So we're getting a look here, and the question is, I believe, where did the foul occur? Because there was contact between Hawkins and Bowie before Bowie made the pass. Then the ball went to the hands of Langborg, and Langborg was contacted by Cam Christie. Cam Christie only has one personal foul so far. So the officials
say it's on Hawkins.
Make a ruling. They say it's on Hawkins. That is either a missed call or an unbelievably late whistle.
Yeah.
So Hawkins is done. Braden Carrington checks back into the game. In his 10 minutes played, he shot 0 for 4. Shooting free throws is Langborg. And he misses the first. That is critical. Score remains 68-63 in favor of Minnesota. They have outscored the Wildcats 7-2 in overtime. Second free throw up, off the front of the rim, and that one is not good either. Christie gets the rebound. 80 seconds to play. Minnesota brings it up. Northwestern gets set defensively. Barry's on Christie. Christie trying to kill clock. The Golden Gophers set up in a rectangle around the paint. Now they start their play. Ball into the hands of Garcia. He's pushed from behind, and Barnheiser is called for the foul.
His third. Dawson Garcia got 2 more free throws to extend the lead. And he has really started to score a lot as Northwestern has started fouling him. He's made up his points from the free throw.
Swishes the first. The consistency is unmatched. Garcia, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 18 points in 41 minutes played. Lines up the second and knocks that one down as well. The Golden Gophers are up by 7, 65 seconds to play. Northwestern needs to move with speed. Bowie brings it across half court. Over to Barnheiser. Now Ty Berry goes between the legs. Over to Langborg, looking for help. Berry, spot up 3. No good. Is a foul called? We'll see what it is.
Nope.
A foul is, and that's against Northwestern.
They sent the wrong guy to the line. Dawson Garcia shooting 2 more. And he has not had any cheap makes where they bounce off the front of the rim and rattle around and get lucky. Almost every single one of his free throws has been nothing but net.
Northwestern is in a jam here. They're down by 7. Garcia shooting 2. They bring Nick Martinelli back on.
He makes one of these. He'll be at 20 and be the leading scorer.
Misses the first.
I shouldn't have said anything.
He put less arc on that shot than he has his previous free throws. It hit the front of the rim, hit the back, and fell out. Second free throw up. He returns to 4. Minnesota's up by 8. 71-63, and now a foul is called before the ball's even inbounded. That's against Braden Carrington, who was matched up with Boo Bowie. Carrington's not happy. Northwestern now has a chance to shoot 2 free throws, and not a single millisecond ticked off the clock.
They've got their best guy there. 50 seconds on the number.
Northwestern has not scored in the last 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Minnesota is on an 8-0 run. Bowie at the line. First free throw up, no doubt about it. 71-64.
He's at 20 now on the afternoon. 7 for 9 from the line, 5 for 12 from the field.
Bowie looks for his second, and he misses this one. Cam Christie, Braden Carrington. Minnesota needs to break the press. Here's Christie with space, ahead, Payne, the jam! Minnesota up by 9.
Pharrell Payne with an excellent move and another rejection!
Bowie blocked by Payne. Foul called on the Wildcats. And this game is about as close to over as it gets.
Pharrell Payne, are you kidding me? This guy has shown up time and time again throughout this game. Doesn't draw a foul when blocking Bowie, and none of those blocks have been cheap. That was stuffed right back in Bowie's face.
The Golden Gophers, after every victory, give a wrestling belt to the player of the game as Mike Mitchell hits his first free throw. They call it the Big Warrior Award. If Pharrell Payne does not get the Big Warrior Award for this game, Jack, something has gone horribly wrong. I have never seen a collegiate performance like this. Offensively and defensively, he is unbelievable. Second free throw is good for Mike Mitchell. Northwestern calls timeout. Gophers up 11. 32.4 left in OT.
I mean, this is probably one of the most complete performances from Pharrell Payne that we've seen. If he winds up getting in the game, gets one more rebound, that's good for a double-double. He's got 4 blocks in there, 2 assists. Stayed out. He's been at 3 fouls since midway through the second half of the second quarter.
Oh my goodness.
The second half of the second half.
His shot selection has also been great. 7 of 8 from the field. The efficiency is unbelievable.
And way to go by Pharrell on that play, recognizing Northwestern needed a trap and some kind of turnover to get things started. He sprinted down to the other end of the court, was left on an island.
You're right. He slammed it home with no one around him, booked it 94 feet the other way, and came up with a massive block that just about ends this game. Can't script it any better if you're a Gopher fan. Minnesota up by 11. 32 seconds plus a couple milliseconds left to go. Long inbound pass. Northwestern drives the layup up and good. That's Langborg. So now 27.8 to play. Minnesota up 75-66. Northwestern goes full court press. Minnesota looking for help on the inbounds, and they throw it away. Northwestern gets it back. Cam Christie. A little bit of miscommunication there with Mike Mitchell, and the ball wound up out of bounds. So now the Wildcats have a chance. Bowie will be the inbounder. They're running a stack, looking for someone to feed it into. They find Martinelli around the perimeter. Bowie, long 3, fade away, no good. Offensive rebound, put back up. That won't fall. Rebound to Minnesota. Mitchell has it, and he can run out the clock. 12 seconds left to play. Mitchell across half court, and the Golden Gophers have upset the Northwestern Wildcats. 75-66. This team is legitimate.
That is one of the biggest wins that head coach Ben Johnson has had throughout his entire tenure at Minnesota. There's not a game that you could tell me that the Golden Gophers gave up so many three-pointers. They had a couple of turnovers, but the turnover battle was Northwestern's. It was unbelievable. The Gophers had 12 right on their season average. Northwestern doubled it and then some with 17, forcing turnovers. You were down almost the entire second half, and they rallied behind a couple clutch free throws and a great three-pointer from Cam Christie. And they win this one 75-66 in OT.
Northwestern had the lead for 33 minutes and 49 seconds of the 45 minutes of total game time played. The Golden Gophers had the lead for only 6:53, but they have it when it matters most. When the final clock hits 0, it's a Gopher victory. They improve to 500 in Big Ten play, 5-5 on the season. That is their second straight win, and they have a chance to keep the ball rolling just a few days from now against the Michigan State Spartans here at home. This was a fun one, Jack.
It really was, and that's the kind of win that gets a fan base reinvested in a team. It's head coach Ben Johnson's third year, really hasn't had much success in the first two, and you just get the feeling that something about this team is different. They're not going to win the Big Ten. That's pretty much out of the question, but if given the opportunity, they may be able to make some noise in the Big Ten tournament, and if given the opportunity as well, maybe even in March Madness.
The Gophers fire up the crowd as the Wildcats leave the court. We'll take a look at some of the statistics for this game. Northwestern, typically a very strong shooting team, only 38% from the field. The Golden Gophers sitting right at about their season average, 46%. But the big difference was three-pointers made down the stretch. Minnesota started 2 of 11 from behind the three-point line. After that, they went 5 for 12, hitting them when it mattered most. Cam Christie, 3 big triples. Of course, we have to talk about the free throws. Dawson Garcia, a hero in that category, going 9 of 11 from the line. Minnesota made 16, only missed 5. Northwestern left 7 points on the board, going 13 of 20 from the charity stripe.
The thing is, the last almost 6 minutes of the second half, Northwestern didn't hit a field goal.
That's right.
It was all free throws. They went cold from beyond the arc again, or came back down to earth, I would suppose. They still were 11 for 23, which was a great number by all means. But not having no field goals in the last 6 minutes of a game, when they hit the field goal at 5:55 was a Ryan Langborg 3. They were up 54 to 46. It's an 8-point lead with just about 6 minutes left. Most games that would be written off as a Golden Gopher loss, but not today. They played some outstanding defense down the stretch, and especially in overtime. Great defense, drawing fouls. Dawson Garcia was excellent from the free throw line when it mattered the most.
27 to 27 at halftime, 61 to 61 at the end of regulation. After 5 minutes of OT, the Gophers win it 75 to 66. Unbelievable efforts from Elijah Hawkins. He came back from an ankle injury. Mike Mitchell battling through, being that Swiss Army knife the Golden Gophers needed. Dawson Garcia had a brutal first half where he was 3 of 11 from the field. He finished with a team-high 20 points. Pharrell Payne, one of the best defensive games either of us have ever seen, Jack. Plus, he had 14 points on 7 of 8 shooting. Cam Christie, some of the biggest threes of the season for the Golden Gophers, and the bench contributed 3 points as well, working on to give those starters rest at much needed times.
So we will see you next time here on Radio K Sports. Next basketball game here, Tuesday, February 6th, 8 p.m., hosting the Michigan State Spartans. And then after that, we'll be back with some Penn State hockey action next weekend for just before the Super Bowl.
With that, we leave you with the final score, 75-66 Minnesota. We appreciate you tuning in to Radio K Sports and supporting Golden Gopher Student Radio and student broadcasters. Wishing you a fantastic weekend and an easy start to the week.